Another area that we're focusing on to help our business development and recruiting new businesses is sites. Now, I think many of you have heard me use this analogy before, but being a sales guy that used to call on stores, it's kind of like if I were a store, if the state of Tennessee was a store, customers come into our store, and they walk up to our shelves to see what products we have on the shelf. The product that we have is our sites. And today we have 37 select Tennessee sites. Those are our biggest, best sites. One of the first places they look. These customers are ready-to-wear customers. They're ones that want to come in, and you've got to have the product ready immediately. They're not going to wait for you to customize it. So if we don't have the product on the shelf, they're going to walk away. If you look at this map, you'll notice that while there's some big clusters of sites, there are also huge gaps where there's no sites. None of these select Tennessee sites. So I know what's going to happen over these next 3 or 4 years if we don't put sites there. I'm going to be going back to some of those places that I talked about and saying, we really tried to bring you jobs, but we failed. But if we didn't have a site to move them into, then it was not going to happen. So we've got to be more proactive in doing that. In years past, what we usually do in economic development is if this was a product, again, using that analogy, if this was a product and we were selling the product, we would use promotions and discounts to get you to buy our product. And that's fine. It's worked. We've been very successful with that. But alternatively, as a business person, if you have a product to sell, in addition to advertising and promotions and discounts, sometimes you also invest in your product, making sure that your product is a high-quality product that just people naturally want to have. So we're going to have a shift to start investing more in our product and making sure that the products that we have by themselves are attractive. So it's a big goal of ours. And Amy New will talk a lot more about that when she comes up. I won't steal any of her thunder. She's giving me the eye. One last deep dive on one of the sites, because it's such an important one for our state that I wanted to spend a bit more time on this one, is the Memphis Regional Megasite. Our state has invested over $100 million in this site over the last 10 years. The great news is we're at the point now where it's time to go sell. We've got enough in the ground that before it gets finished, it's time to start with the lead times that it takes for a new business to move in. It's time to start selling. This site's 4,100 acres. We're positioning it as the best site in North America. I'll let somebody contest us on it, but we believe it is. 4,100 acres of beautiful farmland that is ready for some major businesses. I want to share the video with you for 2 reasons. One, as Team Tennessee, West Tennessee goes, our state goes. And so we've got to be successful in West Tennessee. This is our key asset to be able to pull up that entire part of our state. So it's important in that respect for us all Tennesseans. But in addition, it's also an example of some of the things that I hope to be able to do in the future around the state. I asked the team for $1 billion. This is a $1 billion sell. So I need marketing material that looks like you're selling $1 billion product. And I think they've delivered. So I want to single out Clint Brewer's team, Ryan Bush, Justin Lane, Sarah Kennedy, who's on the camera. All of their team. They had a lot of support from our local folks, Tracy Exum and Gwen Fisher in Memphis. We also had the local chambers buying in and give us a lot of input and support on this. Jackson Chamber and the Memphis Chamber and the Tipton Lauderdale Haywood County Alliance. We had so many different people collaborating. So this isn't just the work of ECD or of some department within us, but it's the work of all of West Tennessee. I'm really impressed with it. I hope you will be. We got 2 different videos. One's setting the tone for Tennessee. This could be anywhere in Tennessee, but we picked Memphis. And the second one is very specific, some of the technical aspects of the site. So with that, if we could roll the tape.
Anyone can dream big, but it takes something extra to forge ambition into action. A certain discipline, to be invested, to remain committed, to achieve mastery. Some only see the surface, content to dwell on what is instead of exploring what if. But this isn't the place for them. Dig deeper. You'll find boundless grit, a shared spirit that pushes through uncertainty, and drive that shapes who we are and who we want to be and where we want to go. An instinct distilled from over 2 centuries of pioneer tradition for what works, what wows, and what will be. It's called heart. We have it, you have it. It's in every smile, every process, every product. and it drives us to make things happen, to make things right. We're masters of business, captains of industry, caretakers of craft. There's pride in every handshake and a promise in our word. Rare is the character who takes responsibility for the future and embraces great opportunity in the fleeting moments of today. Then again, you aren't just any leader, and we aren't just any partner. And this isn't just any place. This is land where legends are made. This is 4,000 acres of history in the making, and this is the only stage that matters. Now is your time to be mastered in Tennessee.
For the communications team. So I'm sure you're thinking what I think every time I see that we have no excuses whatsoever not to land an OEM in that site. We already have a great asset in our state. We also have great material. So know that we are taking on that responsibility. I've said to our folks in West Tennessee many times, regardless of whatever success we might have across the state, If we don't land something in that site in the next 3 years, then we failed, and we are determined to find somebody to move in there. The good news is that we have multiple opportunities. Turns out that 4,100 acres is far larger than any one OEM is going to need. So here's just for a reference point. Nissan, which is in Smyrna, is the largest automobile manufacturer in the history of North America. Not just today, but they're making more cars today than any other company or any other factory in the history of North America. And yet they only take about 800 acres. You have the Volkswagen plant, as we all know, down in the Chattanooga area. They're on about 700 acres. Hankook is on about 500 acres or 400 acres up in Parksville. And we thought, well, maybe if you were making airplanes, maybe you would need a big space if you were making airplanes. So we looked at what the Boeing plant was in South Carolina, and it's only about 350 acres. So as this graphic shows, we could put 4 of those major OEMs on the site. So I want to be clear, and we've said this multiple times to our folks in West Tennessee, but to make sure everybody knows across the state. So we are going to divide up the parcel into areas in which we're able to put multiple big OEMs, 3 to 5. That doesn't mean that we're going to put 30 to 50 small little businesses. It's still major OEMs. But the great news is that we can do multiple OEMs. And the great news about that is it allows us to provide a more diversified economy. You really don't want your entire economy based on one automobile factory. So here we can possibly have OEMs in multiple industries, which again will make a much more stable, more diversified economy. We're excited about this. And also another note about the video. What we did there, we can do for the Port of Kate's Landing and for many other great assets across our state, and that's on the radar and something that we will continue to do. The second thing we do is help our businesses expand. A lot of attention, a lot of press always goes to those new businesses coming in from someplace else, but it's important for you to know 75% of all the work that we do at ECD is helping our existing businesses expand. Something I learned in business was that you get your best return on investment by just being a great partner with the partners you already have. And the same is true in this business. Working with the businesses that are already in the state of Tennessee and helping them continue to grow provides us the best return on investment and is where the majority of the businesses or the jobs that we get come from.